Hey, hope we are in. Oh yes, everyone, you're welcome to my live stream. I'm sorry I've been offline for quite some time because I was having issues with my internet service provider. I think their booster got a problem near here where I am, and I wasn't able to be online for about 6 weeks. Yet I was actually planning to have this almost every week, and yeah, it wasn't good. It wasn't really good completely. And I think as we start right now, I just want to review what we did previously. So if you look at this code that I have in this, let me just open this. Oh, someone who's wondering which version of Windows are you using? I'm actually using the official Windows 11 version, the one which was released by Microsoft. I think on 11th of November. I don't remember whether it was 1st or 11th. I don't remember so well. Let me just switch this screen to look the way I want it to look. Okay, color theme. I like using this dark material. So previously, actually, the thing that I concentrated on so much was matters of color, and I showed you how to use this style color, and I showed people how to change these colors and switch it from RGB to hexacode or to HSL, and yeah, and I also shared with you the advantage of using HSL. Yeah, HSL is far much easier for people who are used to adjusting colors themselves. But for today, we shall not do this. I just want to dive straight into what we've been missing, because this is a continuous stream that I want to be continuous in every single Sunday when we have our live streams. So here we go. Let me just create a new folder. Let me call it Learn HTML5. So this is our 5th lesson. Let me just open this in Visual Studio Code. More options. Open with code. Okay, here we go. Let me just get rid of the previous window. Okay, let me get rid of this. Yeah, just save everything and leave it. Okay, let me get rid of this notification. So today we want to learn about pixels and EMs. Let me just create a new file, and the usual boilerplate HTML. So let me talk about pixels, EMs, then fonts, I think. Yeah, fonts. Hope I'll be able to do this for quite some time. I mean, for a longer time than before. But let me talk about this just for us to understand. Sorry, my video is not on the screen today because someone borrowed my camera and I can't use my computer's webcam because I'm actually doing everything in my bedroom. So, assuming you've been asked to adjust the font on a page, like let's say we have a font like, let's say, paragraph Lorem 10. Okay, so let's just have this. Let me open this with live server. Open with live server, and let me take this to the right. By default, this font starts with a certain font size, and I mean this font comes up on a certain font size, which is the default font size for for each web browser separately. Each web browser has its own default font. So you realize that its font is actually 1 EM. This is the size of the font, the default size of the font. I think it's about 18 pixels. Let me see style, font size. Let me say 18 pixels. If I put it at 18 pixels, is it 18? Oh, it's 16. Yeah, it's actually 16 pixels. The default font size for this web browser which I'm using currently. And it is okay for you to use it, but then there are times when you want to adjust the font sizes to make them bigger and bigger and bigger. So the first method that you can use is you can use this style font size and then increase it to any value you want. Does it accept 0? Let me see. I've never done this. I'm just experimenting. When you put 0, it completely disappears. You don't even see it. So you can have it 1 pixel. 1 pixel. It's really so small. I don't know if even you can see this. Let me just close this off. I don't know if you can even see this. It's really so small. Let me try to zoom in. It's here. I've zoomed into 500%, but you can still see it's very small. Let me zoom it back to 100%. Or you can put it to 100 pixels. See how big it becomes. It's really big. And this is at 100%. If I'm to zoom it to 500%, you can see how big it is. It's really so big. Let me zoom it back to 0. Let me get this reset. All right, so you can increase your font size to any value. Let me put 500 pixels. See how big it becomes. Really gets so big. Yeah, so depending on what you want, you can zoom into any size, 12 pixels. Now, pixels, basically, a pixel is a short form for picture element. I think let me put it here. Pixel. It's a short form for picture element. It's a short form for picture. So a picture element is basically a dot on your screen that makes up an image. So basically that's what a pixel is. So 12 pixels means it's taking up to 12 dots on your screens. But anyway, let me not speak what I do not know so much. I'm not so aware of it. So 32 pixels is about the size. Now, several times when we are designing web pages, some people are going to use the high definition screens, and so if we are to define the font sizes in pixels, you'll find that those with high definition screens, they'll have very tiny fonts, very tiny. So because of that, we prefer to use a value that is understood by every web browser. So if you look at my paragraph here, by default this is its fonts. Oh wait, did this happen? Sorry, I suppose press Ctrl S. I pressed Ctrl X. By default, actually, this font is supposed to be this size here. This is the default size of the font. And yes, we are happy with what is happening. But then you find that on several occasions, you want to adjust the font relative to the default font of the screen. So if I put here style, then font size, and I say it is, let's say, 1 EM, nothing will change. This is a multiple of the default size that your screen takes. So if I put it at 1.2, it multiplies the size by 1.2, and you can see it has become bigger. If I put it at 2.0, or let me just put 2, like this 2 EMs, you can see it gets bigger and bigger. If I put it to 5 EMs, you can see it gets bigger. So with this, I'm able to adjust the font size relative to the default font size of the screen. All right, so someone will ask me, why would you choose to do this? Why would you prefer to, use font size 5 EM? EMs, basically, it adjusts the size of the font relative to the default size of the font of every screen that you are working with. So there are very many kinds of fonts. Let me just have here. This was our font size. There are very many kinds of fonts. And as a web developer, you'll be tasked to use a lot of fonts. Some people will want to use proprietary fonts. For now, the one that I'll teach you how to use is basically, excuse me a bit, let me check if my audio is coming through well. Sorry. Just 1 minute. Okay, I see it here. It's showing me I'm having a broadcast. And let me just cut my volume down. Okay. Oh, okay, now I see it. It's on. Yes, Ehan. Oh, Ian. Ian. Yeah, you're welcome. I hope Ginger is well. Sorry, I'm not in Ginger. I left Ginger Sam in February. Actually, I left Uganda in February and I'm not there. Yeah, I think I'll see you in December when I come for Christmas. But we are here. Okay, so we now are talking about fonts. There are very many kinds of fonts. Let me just have 3 paragraphs here. Lorem 10. Let me just duplicate it 2 more times. I have 3 paragraphs here. Let me make these headings H1. Okay, good. Make this H2. Okay, so we have 3 paragraphs here, and we have a heading 1, heading 2, and a paragraph. Sometimes you might want to have a different kind of font in your document. So how would I do it? I could say H1. I want it to have maybe a different kind of font. I want H2 to have another kind of font. I want H3 to have another kind of font. All right. So now these fonts are grouped into very many kinds of fonts, but the main ones being serif fonts. Then we have sans serif, and then we have cursive and monospace. We also have so many other kinds of fonts, but let's talk about it. So what are serif fonts? If you look at this font here, I think let me give an example here. Let's do let me comment out this so that it doesn't confuse us. You realize that my H1 is not changing in any way. Let me just zoom in so we can see what is happening. My H1 is not changing in any way. Why? Because this default font is actually a serif font. What are serifs? Serifs are these small extensions that you see. These extensions here, that's a serif. These are serifs. These are serifs. These. How about if I would change this to sans serif? Something of this kind. You will notice that actually this font has become blocky. Why? There are no serifs. So sans serif fonts are good when you're doing text that someone should see from a distance. And most websites nowadays use sans serif fonts. Then we have what we call cursive fonts. Let me just do a simple cursive font here. Cursive fonts are some sort of handwriting. My default one for Windows is like this. Yeah. Then in case I try to use Monospace. Monospace fonts make your text appear like that typed by a typewriter. Every piece of every character takes the same amount of space, whether a capital letter, small letter, whether a symbol, they all take up the same amount of space. So that's about Monospace font. Now you could also you can choose to use any kinds of fonts that you want. Now what happens is this: in case I define a font for this body tag, automatically everything down here will inherit the same font style as the default font. And okay, font family for now. It will inherit the same font family as the default font, and it will not in any way use any other font unless you've explicitly defined it here. For example, if I say in body, I can say maybe style font family. I say maybe I want let me use sans serif. Okay, so what will happen is that everything here will become sans serif except for this. Why? Because I've explicitly defined this font family Monospace right here. All right, so that is about that. That's about fonts. We've learned how to use Monospace and sans serif fonts. There are so many kinds of fonts that you can use. If you check one of the sites where, as web designers, we always get fonts from is Google. We always use these Google fonts, and there are so many sans serif fonts. Like for example, you can see here Roboto, Open Sans, which is the commonest people use. We have one here, Comforter, Brush. We have this Noto Sans Japanese, Lato, so many of them. So what would I do if I wanted to use, like, let's say this font in my web page? What I would do is I'll click on it, and then I'll say select this style. In case there are so many other styles, I'll select them. Then I want to import this to my web. Okay, if I was using a style sheet, I would use import, but for now I want to use a link, so I'll copy this here. Okay, copy this and put it in my head section. Let me put it below the title tag like this, and then now I would now set my font for my document to be this. I copy this, right click, copy, and then come to style font family, and then V, Control V. Okay, save. So you'll see that my web page has gotten the same fonts here. Let me actually disable this for now. Style, get it out, come out. Okay, you'll see that all my fonts are now using the same font style from my Google font. So in case you want to use, like, let's say, really good looking fonts, like for example, there's this common one which most people like. It's called Railway. Now this Railway has a lot of how can I say it, it has a lot of let me first get this out. It has a lot of font sizes. So we have font styles. We have thin 100, thin 100, italic. So in case you want this, just select this, select this, select this, select the other, whichever you want. Whichever you do not want to use, you can skip it. Okay, let me just have this, skip some, skip this, so I can get whatever I want from here. And after doing this, I just go to the top, click on this, and then I can now use this link here, which I can now copy and paste into the head section of my HTML. Let me do this, just undo this a bit. So paste this here. Let me format document. Okay, so I have everything in. And after doing that, I can now choose to use this in my body section. For now, we are applying it to the body section because we want everything in our HTML to have that. Sorry, I've highlighted that closing quote. Let me do this again. Okay, good. Delete that extra one. So you'll see now that actually my document is using that font. And in case I get rid of this H1 style here, okay, save, you'll see that I actually have this font being used in my document. So you can actually use a lot of fonts online. There are so many others. You also have some which are inbuilt into your computer. Like for example, if you try this font family, okay, let's do this, sorry, font family. So we have a lot of fonts here. Maybe I want to put in something like Gill Sans, it's here. So I have Gill Sans MT, Calibri, and all that kind of stuff. See what will happen. My document has gotten a Gill Sans font. If I want something like Tahoma, let me just get this out like this. Put it in single quotes, Tahoma, like that, with a semicolon at the end. So you can see that my font has changed. It's now Tahoma. Maybe I want Verdana. These are the default fonts in Windows. You can see my web page is changing because I'm using the fonts that are in here. You don't necessarily need to put it in quotes for single worded fonts. Like let's say I want a font like Arial, I don't need to put the quotes. So you can see I have my Arial font and everything is perfect. So you can easily change fonts using that method. You can explicitly define. Should have seen something that looked like this. You saw we have a font family, and then Gill Sans, and then Gill Sans MT, Gill, then Calibri, then Trobset MS, then Sans Serif. These are called backup values. So the font that you want to use is Gill Sans. But in case your computer doesn't have Gill Sans, I want you to use Gill Sans MT. In case your computer doesn't have these two, the fallback value is Calibri. In case Calibri doesn't exist, the fallback value should be Trobset MS. In case Trobset MS doesn't exist, then you should use the default sans serif font. Now, those are called backup values. And these backup values will help you in situations. Sorry, my internet is kind of disturbing a bit, but okay, let's go on. So I was saying these fallback values or these backup values are ones that in case all the fonts that you've defined are not in your system, then your system will actually use those default, those fonts. So that is that. So now let's talk about HTML and CSS. I think let me resize this a bit. We introduced CSS previously, and we used a little CSS now. Let me just do something simple. Let me just reuse this. Let me repurpose this very document. So let me call this HTML and CSS. Okay, my title here has become HTML and CSS. I think just to make sure that I am using what I dot. Let me do this. Okay, let me just get this. Control C. I always like putting this up here before the format document. Okay, I need this pre-connect to be there. This also this pre-connect, but this I want to take it below my title. So I just hold down the Alt key, press arrow down. With that highlighted, it goes down. Okay, there we are. Let me have in my body section, let me create header, and then I have in my header h1. Okay, let me have this here, h1, and my h1, let me call it I don't know if my music is coming through. Let me just adjust my music just a little bit, just to make sure it comes through. Yeah, it's my own personal song. So let me say, let me just make something for myself. Okay, let me have P, the info guy. Let me have something of this kind. Let me create a section here, main. This is another HTML tag which came with HTML5. So let me have h2. Welcome to my website. Okay, I'm going to try to use most of the things that we've been using before. Let me have a paragraph with 50 words. Let me reduce on this font size a bit. Okay, hide this. So even this, let me get it back to 0. So we have P lorem 70. Okay, I have 2 paragraphs here. Let me have another h2, and in my h2 let me have about me. Use some old school styling HR. That is a horizontal rule. This line here you see appearing here. Then let me have, actually I think let me put the same here, HR. Okay, so here we go. All right. Oh, sorry, not there. Below this, let me have a paragraph. P lorem 25. Okay, lorem 25. That is cool. And let me have a UL li. This is the list, the first item. Okay. So let me just 1, 2, 3, 4. First, second, third, fourth, and fifth. Okay, so I have my lists here. Then let me have my footer. Then I use and copy. I say Joseph, no, 2021, Joseph Opio, all rights reserved. Okay, I've done some simple site here. Now, let me do this. Let me just use this. So now, let's have some internal CSS here. Now, for you to use internal CSS, you need to put it in the head section. So style, let me start with my header, and my header I want to give it okay, I think I'm doing things when I've not explained them. Now let me just say color black. I think I've not explained some things here. You know, since I've taken some time without doing this, I think I'm just running so fast ahead, but in case I did it before, I don't remember looking through my video just to see what I'd done. Allow me to explain this. So this is how we define internal CSS. Previously, all these were using what I would say maybe background color, maybe style, background color, and maybe say aqua. Let me just use a bright color. So actually with this, we're doing what you call inline styles. So let me call this inline style. Okay, inline style. And this is called internal styles sheet, internal style. So here I've actually put an internal style here, and it starts from here up to here. While an inline style, I define it within the tag. But then we want to try to use this inline style for selecting these elements. How do we select them? We select these elements just using the keywords of the tags, but we only strip off the angle bracket. For example, here I was selecting header, and I say the header, and then I put a curly brace, and then I define my attributes and their properties right in there. So I could do something like this up there. Let me just get rid of this. Let me put background color aqua. First rub it off and save so you can see what has happened. I've taken it off. So let me put here background. Okay, then I want to have something like a padding. Let me say 0 pixel. Now let me put it at 20 pixels. Padding is a space inside your tag. Let me first reset everything, and maybe let me do this. Let me give it a background color of tricorn silk. Let me use cornflower blue. Seems looks so good. Okay, good. Now I see a lot of white space here, which means there's some default padding and margin. So let me just use the universal selector. We shall get to know about it later. And then let me say I want to give it a padding of 0, margin of 0. Let me see how that makes it look good. So that is much better. Then I can now say I want to give it a border box sizing of border box, something of this kind. So that is cool. And then also I want to give this font a color white. Okay, good. So I have to make this a little darker. Now that's where my HSL comes in. Very easy for me to use HSL, so I want it to be about 30%. Okay, you can see I just darken the color by just reducing on the lightness. 20. That is dark enough. Good. And then also I want to give it a font. I want to make sure all my work has a font family. Actually, I left it here so I could be able to use this. Let me just copy this. So let me just paste this here. So now my work all looks like this. Good. So let me increase on this padding. Let me make it 30 pixels. You can literally see that I'm adjusting the padding here by adjusting the the internal CSS. So this is good enough. Let me have my horizontal rule here, HR. Okay, so okay, good. So now since I have only one H1 here, I want to give this H1 some bottom padding. So let me get it selector, so H1, and I say I want to give it padding bottom of 5 pixels. Hey, by the way, we could also use EMs here. If I say 5 EM, see what happens. It becomes 5 times the default font size. That is too big, so let me just use EMs 1.2. So that is good enough. Let me also get my HR and give it padding top and bottom. So HR, HR, let me give it a margin of 20 pixels. So I need to get rid of this padding, so I have everything sorted. Let me just comment it out. No, that comment doesn't work. Let me try this. Uh-oh. Let me try this. Good. Okay, wait, I need this padding. Really? Sorry, I need this padding, so it is this one actually which I was supposed to comment out. Okay, so let me do this. Okay, that is good enough. So now here I've used one selector, many properties. This is called a universal selector, it selects everything. Here also one selector, many properties, one selector, many properties, one selector, one property. But you can actually define multiple selectors. Like now here I'm saying H1, H2 and H3. I want them to have text align center. So let me get this from up here down here like this. So all of them will be like this. So my HR, I want it to have a text align of center also, and then I want to make its maximum width to be 200 pixels. Oh, align item center. No, let me not do this for now. Let me not do this. Okay, let me just give it a big padding. I said margin is 20 pixels. Okay, so let me give it margin left and right. Margin top and bottom is 20 pixels, and left and right let me give it 50 pixels. Let me make it bigger. Let me put it at 5 EM. Okay, it's fine. Let me just use this. So let me also give this padding top, grab off these. What am I doing here? Sorry. Padding top of 1.2 EM. Okay, that's good enough. I think I still need a text align center here. Text align center. Yeah. Good. So I have something that is coming out. So let me leave this. This is okay for me. Oh wait. I think my body tag needs some bit of not the body tag, let me use the main tag, because I want everything here in the main section to have some bit of padding all around. So I can say main padding, not padding bottom, padding of 20 pixels. That is big enough. Yeah, so I see some cool white space here, good. And then I want this list of mine, the UL, to have a left padding of 40 pixels. So my UL, select the UL and I say padding left of 40 pixels. Okay, good, it has gone in. Then let me work on my footer. Footer is here. Okay, footer, and I want my footer to have I want to give it a color. I think my footer and my header should have the same colors. So what do I have to do? Let me get here, header, comma, footer, comma, let me have this. So I'm going to give them the same background color. I think let me not do this because this is wasting resources. I need the same styles for header and footer. So I'll just do this, and that should make my footer also look exactly like the header. And then my paragraphs, I want them to have some padding top and bottom. So let me use this for my paragraph, repurpose this for the paragraph. So padding padding, and I want to give it top, bottom 0, and left and right. I want to give it 2 EM. No, it's not supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be 0 pixels and 2 EM, something like this. So I can have, oh, that is too big. Let me use 1.1. No, let me use 0.5. Okay, so this is good enough. So I have at least some paragraphs which are clearly laid out. I think let me add here a paragraph with 200 words, P, lorem 200. So if you look now, my stuff is looking so well, and yeah, this is an example of when I was using internal CSS to generate a site that looks presentable. And sometimes maybe you might want to use a picture, a photograph, maybe Joseph for PO. Let me just do a quick search, images. Let me resize this a bit. Okay, maybe I want to use this photo here. Right click, open image in a new tab. I don't understand what's happening. Let me just use my Twitter image here. No, let me use this. So open image in a new tab. Yeah, I'm having issues anyway. Let me just use this data here. So now this is going to be so big. Let me just have it here. IMGSRC. Boom, very big, only giving us this. So sometimes it might be difficult for you to align an image to the center, but the easiest method is just surround it in a P tag, and this is like a way of just cheating the system. And then you can say align item center, P style, align items center. Oh, what's happening? It's refusing that. Is it justify? Okay, justify content center. Yes, I think this is the one which works. Oh, it's not working. Let me try text align. Text align center. Okay, yeah, you can cheat the system by using a P tag and then align it the center. So I have something that really is working currently, and yeah, this is good enough. It looks beautiful. I like the colors. I like everything here and there. And I could also say I want my HRs to be having a color. HR. I want color of cornflower blue. Is this working? How about if I say background color? Still I'm not seeing it. Anyway, I think I'll figure this out later when I get so deep into dealing with this. So this, we are okay. We've designed one page and it looks good, and that's the thing. But the problem is this. The problem becomes that I have to rewrite the same. Where is my index? I have to rewrite the same CSS in every page. Now, the only way of solving that is by using what we call external CSS. Now, how do we use external CSS? We already have a lot of external CSS libraries, actually a lot of CSS libraries and frameworks that have been created. One example is Bootstrap. If you read about it, Bootstrap, Bootstrap is a very good CSS library, and it has been famous for so long, but the problem is most of the sites that are using them currently are looking the same, so people have gotten tired of them. So there it gave rise to Tailwind CSS, because Tailwind CSS is so customizable. So now what happens with this CSS? What happens is this: I will have to link it to an external CSS file. So in this example, what I'm going to do, I'm not going to disturb myself with this yet. I will one time do a tutorial on this. I'm going to copy all this to an external CSS file, which I'll place here. Let me just place here a CSS file. Let me call it style.css, and let me copy all these styles in index.html, starting from here up to here. Oh wait, I pressed the wrong button. Up to here, Control X, come here. So I have this. Let me save this. So after saving this, you'll see that all my styles have gone. So how do I get, let me just get rid of this internal CSS. How do I get my external CSS to work with my index.html? I have to link the two, and the keyword we use to do that is the word link. You'll excuse me, type in uppercase. Link rel style sheet. href is the location of your CSS. For now, it's called style.css. It's in the same folder within, so we don't need to put in anything. So I can say style.css. It's there. After saving, see what happens. Everything comes back. Why? I'm using this external CSS file to do a lot of things here. Now, most times as a web designer, I would prefer to have my CSS in a folder called CSS, and then maybe in case I have JavaScript and images, I can have them also in a different folder, something like that. Let me just do something graph, and then maybe JavaScript, something of this kind. So what will happen is that I'll have my CSS inside this folder. So someone will ask me, now, how do I link to a CSS which is inside the folder? Now look at this. Already my HTML has lost its styling. So how do I get it to pick that styling? What I'll do is, for me to be able to get its URL, it's within the same folder. So the same folder with the HTML, only that it's one folder deeper. So what I'll do is, I'll type in the name of the folder, which is CSS.
You have a text message.
Excuse me, my phone is disturbing. All right, so let's go on. So I'll type in the name of the folder, / and I see my style.css here. When I save this, already everything gets the same style. So assuming I want to transfer the same styling to all the other pages, of course, my pages will have the same header and the same footer. So let me just copy this, paste it here. Maybe wait a minute. Why don't I first create links to those pages? So in my head section, let me create a navigation section like this. And my navigation section, I want to have an A tag taking me to index.html, and it should be called home. So I have it here. Home takes me to the same page. Now I want it to take me to about, then contact, then portfolio. So let me use this, about.html, about me. So I have it here, home, about me. Okay, good. So now this is going to be portfolio. And then here, let me put in portfolio. Okay, portfolio. When I click on it, it takes me to the portfolio page. It has nothing in it. Home, nothing. About has something. Yes, good. Then the other one is contact. So I'm doing something that looks like a real site. Okay. Yeah, let me put your contact. Okay, now I'm having an issue that my HTML is not looking good. Now let me go and edit my CSS and see how it will affect my work. So let me come down here. Let me have my nav section. Let me say maybe padding 10 pixels. Okay, that's okay. Then I want to have my links. Since I'm only having one set of links, let me not do anything fancy here. Let me give them color, white. Okay, good. I want to give it text decoration, none. Okay, there's no underline. Now how does someone know that they are links? Let me give them a border of 1 pixel, solid white. Okay, kind of, it looks good. Let me give it padding of 10 pixels. Okay, now this looks cool. Let me give it a border radius of 10 pixels. Let me see how does it look. Okay, good. Now I just want to make it that when my mouse goes over it, it becomes maybe black. So for that I will create a pseudo selector. Don't worry about this. We'll talk about this later. So when I hover over it, the color should become black, and then the border color should become also black. So let me try it. Okay, good, good, good. So I want it to stand out, so I'll give it a background color of white. Okay, that works for me. And then maybe I can say text transform, and I say I want it to, now let me do font style. Okay, font style, I want it to become bold. I need to become bold. Let me use this. Okay, let me just use this. Let it become italic. Okay, that's good enough. So I can see it's interactive. So now I want to copy the same styles to my about. So let me just do this. Okay, there's a shorter way I would do this, but I'm just taking the longer route. About. Okay. When I refresh this, you should see something that looks like that. This is portfolio. There's a shorter way of doing this, but just because I want us to practice with this, I want us to see how everything goes. And then here also contact. Okay, so let me go and copy from my index.html. Let me just hide this so I can have more real estate. So header. Okay, about here. Okay, it's telling me my CSS is not linked. Let me link it down here. Link css/style.css. See, immediately it gets the same look. So when I click on the home tab, it brings this. Okay, so let me change this from Joseph Opio to about Joseph Opio. Good. Let me do this so that it is easy for me to use other formatting styles. Let me do the same for the other pages. Control C, portfolio, Control V, contact, Control V, so about to contact. Okay, link. So when I click on contact here, yes, it works. Portfolio is not working yet. So let me save this portfolio. Good. Link, CSS, style, sheet. Good. So about me works, portfolio works, contact works. Oh, portfolio, I didn't change its name, so portfolio. So contact, portfolio, about me, and then home. Okay, good. So now I could also copy the footer. Let me just copy the footer here. Okay, footer. Let me just paste it here. Save it. Paste here. Save it. Paste here. Save it. So let me see my contact page. The footer is joined to everything. So let me now try to put in my main here. H2. This is the contact page. Please get in touch. So please get in touch with my horizontal rule. You can see all the styles that I used before are just coming in, and I could say maybe I want to put here paragraph lorem 20, simple paragraph. Okay, sorry. Okay, good. Then I could have a simple contact form here, and in this form I want to have label, email. Oh, yeah, let me do this. Input, sorry, email. Sorry, I thought I'd put that contact. So type email. That's enough. So I have a space for email. Let me have label for name. Okay. Type copy of this. And take it up. So I can have some space here. Okay, email. After email, I can now put in maybe area. You do it like this. So P non-breaking space. Okay. So below this text area, I want to put in P with message. Just use this. So after that, I can now put in a button to submit the form. Button, submit. Let me use this shortcut here. Button type submit. So let me say send message. Okay, let me give it also a P with a non-breaking space. This is just the crude way of doing it. Yeah, but it's just for you to learn. So when I click send, let me say maybe name is required, so that when someone tries to click send, it'll tell him please fill out this field. Same with here, required, sorry, required. So please fill out this field. So let me say P. Okay, good. Maybe microphone. Maybe my name is microphone. So it says please fill out this field. So let me just put in something random. Please include an art. So art. See, so at least I have some validation going on. Yeah, a good skill for you. Maybe here portfolio, about me, all that. I'll finish it up next time. Let me just put in something random here. This is my portfolio, main, h2, my portfolio, P lorem 100. That's all. So portfolio, I have a paragraph. Let me just put here an horizontal rule. Okay, this stream is getting quite long and I really want to stop, but let me finish up with this. So I have my portfolio, contact, portfolio, about me. So let me just edit that a bit. Main. You realize I'm now just reusing everything. You want to know me? HR P lorem 100, and first put lorem 10, and then P lorem 50, and then P lorem 30. Someone who's new to this broadcast will be like, why do you use lorem? This is just dummy text, just placeholder text. Yeah, as a web designer, they might call me, maybe a hospital might contract me to do for them a website, and I might not know what I need to put there, but I know how it should look like, so it's easier for me to design my work and then just share with you what I've designed. So you can see literally I've actually made a basic website, and I've tried as much as I can to use almost everything that we've been doing. So right from the beginning, we've actually seen that HTML and CSS are actually best friends. Let me say it like that. But in today's lesson, what we quietly learned is this. We learned that you can assign, okay, how do you get a selector? A selector, you get it by using a tag inside your HTML. Let me take, that's too much. Let me take, for example, this main, and stripping off just the angled bracket, so you can see main here. And then a selector can have a property and a value. A selector can have a property and a value. But also you can assign many selectors to many values. You can assign many selectors to one value, many selectors to many values. You can also assign one selector to many values. So it's upon you, you can, to many properties. Sorry, I've been mixing up language here. And also we learned how to use fallback values. For example, when we're defining a font family, here we used railway, and then we said it's going to be a sans serif font. Now, there's a mistake that I made that you should never make. And let me correct it right here, since I've just realized it right now. I got this font from Google, this. But the unfortunate part, I didn't use the same font in other pages. You can notice this. My font in other pages is different from this, totally different. So to avoid that, you can choose this, copy, and paste them into the head section of each of these. So let me just do it here like this. Okay. So you notice that now everything has become the same. Everything has become the same, except for contact, I think. Okay, contact is here. Please never make that mistake, and since I've realized it earlier, at least I consider myself a lucky guy. So yeah, that is that. So we've learned how to do this. So next time, I think maybe since we are just recovering from an internet shutdown that really affected us so much, let me try and design a button just using HTML and CSS. Let me do this. Let me just create something simple. This is now the last thing. Button.html. Okay. Okay. Let's have this. Good. Let me create a new style sheet here. Inside this folder, new. Let me call it button.css. Okay. Let me stop this, and let's get here, save this, call this button, and open with live server. Okay, so let's try and do something here. So what I'm going to do, let's just do something simple here. Let's link this to the button style sheet, link CSS button, like that. So in my button CSS file, let me just enter these. Let me just create a simple div tag here, just a div tag. You can design anything to look like a button, and you can even make it active. So let me just use that for now. So let me just use my Div Selector. If you're in my streams previously, you notice that the div tag is used for organizing text. Let me give it a height over 50 pixels and width of 120 pixels. Border color of hash 649 5ED. Let's see, how does this look? Is it working? Let me first get to this and say maybe click me. Oh, what happened? I don't see it working. $120, sorry. No problem, let me continue. Background color. Let me give it a hash B. Those of you who were in my lessons, I told you that you can use either uppercase or lowercase letters, they still work. Okay, good, that is working. Let me get rid of the click me text. Okay, let's continue. So let's give it a border style. Let me put it here, border style, and let me give it solid. Okay, good. We have other border styles. You could use dotted, could use dashed. Actually, I just put in D and I saw dotted. I even see something to do with double. I've never used it. Yeah, you can have a double border. Let me zoom this in so you can see this. Yeah, that can also work. All right, so let's give it a border radius. Border radius allows you to fillet the edges, so let me give it a border radius. By the way, before even I go any further, you could also have a border size. It's border width, sorry. Let's give it like 2 pixels. You can see it gets big. And I could also have something like now to shape the border, I could let me put this up here. Border radius, I use border radius and I can say it is 5 pixels. See what happens. I get something that looks like this. If I make it bigger, 50 pixels, wow, it gets round. Now if you want to have always a round edge, no matter the size, just make this 50%. Sizes in HTML can be measured in EMs, in pixels, and in percentages. EMs, pixels, percentages. You can use any of those. That's too much. Let me just have 5 pixels. Okay, good. That is working for us well. And then also, if you want to position something in the middle of a page, most especially for div tags, you can just say margin auto, like this. It will always position your work in the middle of the page. It will position it in the middle of the page. Yes, that's that. Let's also align our text inside this to the center. Then also I think we need to align items center, and then justify content center, so that if we enter anything here, like let's say welcome, it should appear, it's supposed to appear in the middle of the button. But let me see, so that it means justify content center doesn't work. Underline item center also is not needed for now. So that makes quite a lot of sense to us. We shall get to know other things as we go on. So now you can make this a link by surrounding now this button with an A tag. We're just reminding ourselves some of the things. HTTPS www.just. Oh guys, I'm sorry, still up to now I haven't yet finished redesigning my page, I mean my website. So let me get off this space. So see what will happen when I click on this. Takes me to josephopio.com, coming soon. Sorry guys, it has now been so many weeks. I'm always paying for this site and I'm not using it, but anyway, I'll keep paying for it until when I have something. Maybe in case anyone wants me to put there something, you could give me some suggestions on the things that I can use. So I see that there is an underline on this. I don't like that, so let me just go to my A tag, text decoration, yeah, none, don't want any underline, and also color is white. Should I use that? Oh, let me not use white, let me use black. Let me do this. Now this is where HSL rocks. Any color it is, I just bring this to 0. That's all. It becomes black. So if I'm trying to switch it to HTML, I mean to CSS, it automatically becomes 0. I mean to hexadecimal, sorry. So you can see that my button is now working, and yes, that is that. So that's about that. So next time when we go far, next time when we meet, we're going to talk about CSS selectors. For today, allow me end here. Yeah, so thank you very much for hanging around. I know if you've reached this point, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. Yeah, there's that button, it really works. Please test it for me if it works. Yeah, that subscribe button, test it for me if it works. Do not just let it go. Please test if that subscribe button works. If you go to my site, you'll find subscribe button is somewhere down here. I only have 82 subscribers right now, and if you help me out and click on it, yeah, I'll be so happy with you. So have a great time everyone. Thank you very much for hanging around up to this point, and see you again next time.